When World War I ended in 1918, people believed it would be the war to end all wars. But the peace that followed was fragile and deeply flawed. Across Europe, cities lay in ruins. Millions of soldiers returned home, not as heroes, but as men carrying trauma, uncertainty, and no clear future. Economies were unstable, governments were weak, and new borders created tension instead of stability. It may have looked like peace on the surface, but underneath, Europe was already beginning to crack. In 1919, the victorious nations forced Germany to sign the Treaty of Versailles. This was not just a peace agreement. It was a punishment. Germany was forced to accept full responsibility for the war. It had to pay enormous reparations, give up valuable land, and reduce its military to almost nothing. For many Germans, this felt humiliating and deeply unfair. They did not believe they were solely to blame for the war, yet they were the ones paying the price. That feeling of anger and resentment did not disappear. It grew stronger over time. Then the economy collapsed. In the early 1920s, Germany experienced hyperinflation. Money became almost worthless. People needed wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy basic food like bread. Savings were wiped out overnight, and entire families were pushed into poverty. Just as things seemed like they couldn't get worse, the Great Depression hit in 1929. Businesses shut down. Millions of people lost their jobs. Hunger and desperation spread across the country. And when people become desperate, they start looking for answers. They look for someone to blame. And they look for someone who promises change. This is when Adolf Hitler rose to power. Hitler was a powerful and emotional speaker. He didn't just offer solutions. He offered certainty. He told people exactly what they wanted to hear. He blamed Germany's problems on the Treaty of Versailles, on weak leadership, and on specific groups of people. He promised to restore Germany's strength, rebuild the economy, and bring back national pride. For a population that felt humiliated and hopeless, his message was incredibly powerful. In 1933, Hitler became the leader of Germany. But he didn't just lead the country. He quickly took full control. He removed political opposition, limited freedoms, and concentrated power in his own hands. Germany was no longer a democracy. It had become a dictatorship. With total control, Hitler began rebuilding Germany's military, even though it was strictly forbidden by the Treaty of Versailles. He expanded the army, developed new weapons, and prepared for war. This was a direct violation of international agreements, and other countries noticed. But instead of stopping him, they hesitated. Leaders in Europe, especially in Britain and France, were still haunted by the devastation of World War I. They wanted to avoid another war at any cost. So they chose a strategy called appeasement. The idea was simple. If they gave Hitler what he wanted, he would stop. When he sent troops into the Rhineland, they did nothing. When he annexed Austria, they did nothing. Each time, Hitler grew more confident. Each time, the risk of war increased. Appeasement did not prevent conflict. It encouraged it. Hitler's ambitions continued to grow. He turned his attention to Czechoslovakia and demanded control over parts of the country. Once again, European leaders gave in to his demands. By this point, it was clear that this was no longer about fixing Germany's problems. It was about expanding power. Then came the moment that changed everything. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland using a fast and overwhelming military strategy known as Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War. This time, the world could not ignore it. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. But this war did not start because of just one event. It was the result of years of growing tension. A harsh and unfair peace treaty. A collapsing economy. Widespread fear and instability. weak international responses, and the rise of a leader who knew how to take advantage of all of it. History teaches us something important. Wars do not suddenly appear out of nowhere. They build slowly, piece by piece, decision by decision, until one day, it becomes impossible to stop them. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos.